I posted a tweet a few weeks ago, I think it was now, where I basically said to always remember to reflect on who you are and what you've done. That the change is inevitable, but you can and should always be the one in control of that change within yourself. And it can't be done without consistent self-reflection and self-awareness. There are certain things that I look back on from just, a year ago, and I think, man, I would love to have done that differently. But you can't do that. All you can do is internalize that feeling and then use it to do better next time. Trying to be better is something that we should always strive for. You never reach an end point in life. You're never the final version of yourself. Your whole life is just change after change. You continuously evolve and become new people. It's important to try and be aware of that and to try as much as you can to make that evolution positive. We're obviously going to make mistakes, but all you can do is try. And I think it's important as well for us to all be aware that every other person on this planet is going through that exact same thing too. It's literally just the nature of life. And I bring this up because for me, change is something that I'm always very self conscious of, very self aware of. Um, because, I mean, for those that don't know me, I mean, this channel is, I have no idea who's watching me, to be honest. Um, but for those who know me and for those who don't, I have been very different people just over the past, 5 to 10 years. I changed drastically for better and for worse in a lot of areas. Um, Going into 2016, 2017, and it's something I still grapple with today. I think about it constantly. I fell into the fucking alt-right pipeline. Your Ben Shapiro's, your Steven Crowder's, all those people. Infowars and shit. And I fell into that, and I became one of those people, which, those people are mainly sort of laughed at these days, at least from what I see. They don't seem to be as prominent as they were, although they're still incredibly successful. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to downplay the damage that they do, but I fell into that, and I believed all that shit, and I regurgitated it. Um, and I, on a I don't know, monthly basis, I'll go through my time hop and I'll see another tweet that I posted, 5, 6 years ago on Twitter where I'm like, oh god, dude, why'd you say that? I'll delete it and be like, fuck. Maybe one day I can get rid of all of those awful, ignorant, terrible things that I said during that period of my life. But it won't change that I did it and said it. People saw it. Um, and that's a problem. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it was all the fault of Ben Shapiro, Steven Crowder. Like, yeah, they're at fault. They obviously get people into that line of thinking. Obviously, it's a problem. But you know I'm responsible for myself too, especially at the age that I was. When I fell into it, I was about it must have been just around when I was turning 19. Um, and it carried on into my early 20s before I woke the fuck up and realized, like, dude, you got to cut it out. You got to stop this. Um, and I'm fucking lucky that I did. And I spend you know a lot of my time these days. Like if you watch a lot of my content, like my Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores video, for example, um, I try to actively speak out against that line of thought these days because I guess it's kind of like a subconscious overcorrection. I wouldn't say overcorrection, but like I'm trying to correct for what I did, um, because it does play on my mind all of the time. A lot of the time, it gets brought up sometimes. It's a thing that happens. That's something that happens when you do bad shit. Doesn't matter how long it's been, people are gonna bring that up and be like, "You said this thing, fuck you," and it hurts. Obviously, like it hurts me. I'm like, God, I, I I wish I'd never said that. I shouldn't. I like that I've had that sort of negative impact on someone else. It fucking sucks, and it also sucks from a selfish standpoint. I don't want people to not like me. I don't want people to hate me, you know. But that's the nature of it. That's the nature of it. That's just gonna happen. You can't change that. That's just how it is. And when that happens, it does ruin my day. It does get to me. It does make me feel like shit. It's easy to sit here and pretend and be like, oh no, I don't fucking care, but it does matter to me. Um, and it's one of the many reasons or contributing factors to why I try as hard as I can to fight back against those things. A lot of people are quite complacent um, when it comes to politics or societal issues, you know, whether that's racism, transphobia, you know, etc., etc. Um, and they'll just kind of be like, well, you know, it doesn't affect me. I'll just hang back and do my thing, and it's not really my fight. And it's like, you know, no hate to people that do that, obviously, but for me, like being genuinely part of it and contributing to the negativity, to the toxicity, to the hatred that was there, you know, in all avenues, you know, like I was so many things, you know, so many bad things, and did bad things and said bad things, and so I spend a lot of my time trying to do the opposite. You know, if I see something, I'm going to speak out about it. I'm going to be like, no, that's not, don't think like that. Here's why. But I try to do it from a way where I really want to educate, or at least want people to be self-aware and open their mind and look at what they're saying and think differently. Because I know for me, when I was in that mindset, someone telling me to like shut the fuck up or like you're a fucking like piece of shit, it didn't help me. It didn't fix that. It didn't correct me. It just made me go harder, actually. Um, and you know, it's easy to just be like, oh, you're a fucking dick, like fuck you, because yeah, it's not on you to make them a better person. It's just fucking not. Like it wasn't on any of the people that had to go at me to make me a better person. Like no blame to anyone that did. Like absolutely, you within your right. I was saying some bad shit, and you were calling me out for that and being like, you know, fuck you, and that's reasonable. But for me, like because I went through it, what I want most of all is to try to change others, or at least provoke them into some sort of positive change, because that's ultimately what makes for just a better world and makes people better as people. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I'm just kind of like venting a little bit, I guess, talking about how like the things that go on within me. Like I said, this channel's a great outlet to just kind of talk about personal stuff. Um, and this is just sort of one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's I'm frustrated with myself when I look back at those things, and I'm like, God, I just wish I never fucking did it. I just wish I never did it. I just wish I could go back and have like just talk to myself and be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you saying these things? They're hurtful, they're harmful, they're toxic, they're just ignorant, awful. Like, why are you like this, man? Like, why are you like this? You think you're being edgy? You think you're being funny? You think you're making an epic, funny, you know, edgy, funny joke? You know, being controversial? Like, you know, man, just fuck, stop. Just stop. Just don't do it. You know what I mean? Um, but change, like I said, everyone's going through it. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's trying their best. Or hopefully, you know, you should be trying your best. And I try my best. People make mistakes, obviously, still here and there. Sometimes you say something, you slip up, you go, ah, shit, shouldn't have said that. That was worded that wrong. That was insensitive. You know, that wasn't fair to this person, etc. I don't know. I think I try my best, and I think it's good to encourage others to try their best. And you know, a lot of people will be like, "Oh, fuck cancel culture," and it's like, yeah, I mean, to an extent, like it's kind of wild, but at the same time, I don't want to say it's good, but it's not a bad thing either. You know what I mean? Like for people to be held accountable for shit they've done, but at the same time, you know, you got to think about, why are you holding these people accountable? Is it because you genuinely want to see change, or do you just really not like them and you're trying to get an epic dunk on them? Because that seems to be what sometimes a lot of people do, is rather than seeing like, oh, you know, this tweet from 5, 6, 7 years ago, like, does that represent who they are now? If not, then what's the point in bringing it up? You know what I mean? And if it is the case and it does represent them now, then you can probably find a more recent source, right? But if it doesn't represent who they are now, are you bringing it up just to get a dunk on them because you don't like them? What's the point? Like, what do you want from this? What do you want from this? I don't know. It's odd. I guess I've never understood hating someone to that degree, to the point where like you really just want to tear them down no matter what. Um, but I don't really know. I mean, I guess in a way you believe that someone hasn't changed, and you're like, oh, they haven't done it recently, but they still think it, you know? And I mean, I guess that's fair if that's what you think. That's fair if that's what you think about someone, I suppose. I don't know if I think that's particularly healthy. I think for me, and I can only be honest with myself, and I try my best to be better, to do better, to do the right thing, and to correct for past mistakes as much as you can. I can't ask people to forgive me for it. Um, I can just try and do better and hope that people see that and acknowledge it, um, and it in a way counteracts who I used to be and what I did. Change is important. It's important to change. It's important to try and be a better person, to be different, and to be self-aware of that. I don't know. There's not much more to say about that. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I'm thinking about it a little bit. Um, nice to use this outlet. It's kind of like a public diary, I guess. But yeah, sorry, this is a bit of a downer. I need to do more happy ones, happy commentaries, like on interesting and like light-hearted things. Because holy shit, I need to stop being so fucking miserable all the time with shit like this. It's it's yeah, really really stupid. But I guess that's where like as an outlet, that's what I use this for. I guess that's the point, right? Talk about things like that and to try and like come to terms with it within yourself, and then I just post it publicly for people to see for some reason. Anyway, thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for another commentary, hopefully. Catch you later, everybody. Bye bye.